can't stop the signal now.
And welcome back to another Rebel Rant. There's a pretty good chance you've heard by now that Johnny Depp lost his case against the Sun and, by extension, Aquagirl. And, well, let's just say that, number one, it's not surprising. And number two, disappointing doesn't begin to cover it. Now, if you've been following this story for any length of time, other channels have covered it, such as Yellow Flash 2, and that Umbrella guy has covered this story extensively. He actually had ongoing access to the legal documents of the case and presented them in his videos for you to see. And now that the case is over, he has revealed his source, one Nick Wallace. Nick has documented the entire case from start to finish. I'm not going to dive into the nitty-gritties like from start to finish. Other channels have done that quite thoroughly. There's one thing I do want to touch on regarding Johnny Depp's case, and well, let's get into it here. So here is the conclusion and summary from the judge. 584, it follows that this claim is dismissed. Not surprising one bit. And that's in spite of the fact that all of this evidence came out. It is pretty clear that Aquagirl lied about a great many things, including the physical abuse. Aquagirl did in fact injure Johnny Depp to the point where she almost killed him. And this is just beyond the pale to say the least, but not a surprise. But here's where it gets really interesting. The claimant has not succeeded in his action for libel. The very first statement in 584, keep that in the front of your mind there, folks. Although he has proved the necessary elements of his cause of action in libel. It seems kind of contradictory there, doesn't it? There is a fallacy that in order to understand these documents, you have to be an attorney. No, you don't, folks. As long as you're an intelligent, educated, literate human being, anybody can read these and understand them for themselves. Now, the key thing about being an attorney is having a broad, deep understanding of the legal system and the immense number of cases and precedents, the legal documents, stuff like that. That's where an attorney's value comes in. As a layman, you and I would have to do a great deal of studying on our own to be able to get ourselves up to minimum level to be able to present defend ourselves in court or whatnot. But that doesn't mean that we can't understand this stuff. So when the judge says the claimant has not succeeded in his action for libel, and then immediately in the same breath goes on to state, although he has proved the necessary elements of his cause of action in libel. What is this? Are we living in bizarre world? This doesn't make any sense at all. There's no logic behind this, folks. The judge states that Johnny Depp failed in his action for libel, meaning that he failed to prove the necessary elements of his cause of action in libel. And then immediately states, contradicting himself, that Johnny Depp did in fact prove the necessary elements of libel. I'm about to have a seizure from my brain can't comprehend it. It can't process it. Neurons are firing all over the place, in reverse, upside down, twisted. Oh my gosh, my brain right now is just a freaking roller coaster ride of just misfiring neurons, trying to make sense of this, trying to make connections that can't exist and are impossible to exist. Folks, I don't get it. I just don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. There's no logic to it whatsoever. You cannot argue this away. Don't believe your lying eyes, folks. Don't let your own brain tell you what it is that you're seeing through your lying eyes. That's not what they want you to do. That's not what they want you to believe. This is just incredible, folks. This is unbelievable. But not surprising. And let me tell you why. So I've had my own experiences in life. And this isn't about me. This is just an example, personal experience to bolster what I'm saying and what has happened to Johnny Depp. Oh my goodness. And for my own personal safety regarding my life and livelihood, I need to maintain a certain level of anonymity regarding the situations because there has been legal recourse in the past, and I am literally legally prevented from speaking the full truth about what happened to me. Now, I was wrongfully accused by a supervisor. I had dedicated a full decade of my life to this particular career path. I was this close to being a made man, this close to making good money, folks, with a good career in a respectful field. I was this close, this close. I was so close you couldn't fit a piece of paper between my fingers. And it was stolen from me. It was in the palms of my hands, and they just took it right out and kicked me to the curb. False accusations that I had 10 witnesses in the immediate area that easily could have disproven this false accusation, but the powers that be didn't care. None of them, from bottom to top, none of them cared. Cost me my career, folks, that I dedicated 10 years of my life to. Yes, it was a female supervisor that made this lie against me, and she cost me everything. I'm not speaking out of hate, malice, spite, bitterness. I've dealt with it and I moved on, folks. But then I see stuff like this happening to other people, not just celebrities. The common man. I've known so many men that have been in this situation, and then it happens to Johnny Depp. And you would think Johnny Depp, it could never happen to somebody like him. He's rich, he's famous, he's got influence, connections. He could never lose something like this if it wasn't true. You'd be wrong, folks. You'd be so wrong. And hopefully, if you've been paying attention to this case, to Johnny Depp's situation, hopefully you know by now, it can happen to literally anybody. I was forced to submit to certain things in a vain attempt to keep my job and career. It was extremely unpleasant, to say the least. And it was to no avail. In the end, I still lost everything. As Johnny Depp fought this battle in the public's limelight, extensive amounts of evidence was presented in his defense. For me, it was compelling evidence that proved his innocence and proved the guilt of one Aqua girl. Unsurprisingly, the judge found in her favor. I had to go through government agencies such as the EEOC. They were supposed to be an independent, neutral third party, and they were very much in the bag for the company and very much against me. I was literally told that I was paranoid in spite of having a mountain of hard evidence that proving what I was saying was true and what she was saying was false. And I still have that evidence to this day. And it's absolutely useless. As I'm sure you've been able to figure out by now by what has happened to Johnny Depp. And when I went to countless attorneys, one after the other, the very first attorney that I talked to, he likened my situation to communist Gestapo tactics being used against me. And then he turned around and declined my case. After that, attorney's office after office after office after office slammed the door in my face once they understood the truth of what was happening to me. Nobody wanted to touch it, folks. Nobody wanted to touch it. I didn't have the money to get a high-priced attorney that was willing to take on the job, in spite of the fact that, well, it was common knowledge that it wasn't going anywhere. Johnny Depp had the means, high-powered attorneys willing to take on the case because he could pay them the right amount of money. And he still lost. I had no chance, folks. And neither does a man like Johnny Depp. For the longest time, I couldn't figure out why. Not a single attorney would even talk to me after I shared the details of my case, after I shared the evidence of my case. Not a single one of them would talk to me. Door slammed in my face. No more communication other than, we're not saying that you don't have a case. We just don't want to deal with it. We don't want to take it. Good luck on your search for an attorney. And that's all I ever got, folks. We don't want to deal with your case. Best of luck to you. And there's a reason for it, folks. This type of thing, it doesn't just happen to the rich and famous. They're not the only targets for this type of situation. I've experienced it for myself, and I've known countless men that have endured this injustice. Countless men, folks. More than you can imagine. It is real, and it is destructive on the highest level. It is my sincere hope that after Johnny Depp's case made it into the public spotlight, after so much attention was focused on it in spite of mainstream media's best attempts to cover it up, I am sincerely hoping that you see the truth about these situations, because it is rampant. It is destroying lives left and right, not just in America, but around the world. This is an epidemic, folks, and it is very serious indeed. And it needs to be fixed. So I'm putting this out there into the public forum so people like you can think about it and talk about it, because that is the only way that we have any chance of bringing about positive, meaningful change. This is an injustice, folks, of the highest order. And it didn't just happen to Johnny Depp. It has happened to countless, tens of thousands, if not millions of men around the world. It happens to these men every single day, folks. Every single day. Livelihoods are stolen. Lives are destroyed. Names are turned into mud over lies, deceptions, downright criminal acts perpetuated against these men. These men are in fact victims. Just because a man is a man doesn't mean he cannot be a victim. We might not have a victim mentality, we might not act like victims, but we are victims nonetheless. And it is past time for that truth to be made public and to be understood by the average person and accepted as the truth, because it is the truth. So with that said, this has been another Rebel Rant, speaking into the void.